Hello, and welcome back to the Diners for this edition of Meat Patties and Fries. That is what a burger is, right, Greg?
Oh, yeah.
So, Greg, what are we talking about today?
Oh, we're talking about the Acolyte series that's going on Disney Plus.
Also known as the gayest Star Wars ever, according to the showrunners and according to media, right?
Oh, yeah.
Funnily enough, I mean, this is being released in June. This is Pride Month for many people, and I understand Pride Month is important to a lot of people. Not taking that away. But
I think this whole month is starting to lose its old meanings. Heck, there are even gay people that are saying that it's starting to get pathetic right now.
yeah, there's actually a lot of people that have just looked at this and they've just said enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just want to live their lives as normally as possible. And like many of the new Star Wars shows, do you think this Acolyte show has been well received, or do you think it has not been well received?
Not well received.
Okay, so I have to ask you, Greg, did you watch it?
Well, no, but from what people pointed out, it's terrible.
I did watch the first two episodes on Disney Plus. They're only about 30 minutes long, and it's not as horrible as people say it is, but it's not great either. It's pretty much
It's the same thing I can say about the Emoji Movie. Not terrible or good, just meh.
And the action and fight scenes are at least fun. I like the martial arts involved with it, and I thought the sets looked nice and the music is fine. So it has a lot of good coats of paint, if you will. But, the storyline for the first two episodes wasn't really engaged. I already felt from the first 10 minutes I knew where the story was going to go. You killed Trinity from the Matrix! No, I didn't. It was my evil twin sister that I didn't know was still alive.
What about the third episode?
Where they say that the third episode, according to the press, is going to break a lot of Star Wars canon. It's going to break a lot of lore. That hasn't come out yet. That is going to come out in a couple of days as of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
With the first two episodes, I honestly don't know if I'm going to continue it, if I'm even interested enough to continue it. But at least I gave it a chance, unlike a lot of people who just probably talked a lot of shit about the show without ever watching it. But once again, to me, it's just another mediocre series. And it's going to have its fans, and it's going to have the people who hate it. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do you think of the whole DEI diversity push thing, Greg?
Honestly, it's bullshit.
My opinion on the whole diversity push thing, or the whole diverse character thing, is I really don't care when it comes to Star Wars. It's an established universe in the lore where humans coexist and can procreate with alien species. Oh, and plus there's space wizards and evil factions and shit. So you're also talking to people who've grown up with the franchise even before the prequel movies came out. So honestly, who they procreate with or which gender they fall in love with or identify as, you know what? It's a made-up universe. But at the same time, if all someone cares about is how many minorities get represented in the main cast or how many LGBT characters there are, if that's all you care about, then you really need to get your new priorities. I mean, I would say get a new hobby. Or, seriously, go get your dick sucked or your clit eaten or whatever.
Didn't the showrunner, I don't know, used to work with Harvey Weinstein?
That's right. Apparently she was Harvey Weinstein's assistant for many years. So it just begs the question, for somebody that's saying, oh, I'm doing all this for women and women power. How many women did she knowingly let get hurt by the guy she was working for?
A lot.
If you're that close to Harvey Weinstein, then you know the shady shit that goes on behind closed doors. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
It's been well known how much Disney has been pushing for more progressive diversity in their products. And a lot of people have been saying over the years that Disney in the last decade seems to be doing nothing but agenda-driven bullshit, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even the people who they're pandering to are saying, hey, enough is enough already. Please stop.
Right. Enough is what they're saying. We already talked in a prior podcast about the possible upcoming Rey trilogy, which I don't know if it's still happening or not, but then we talked about the director of that series being an activist documentary filmmaker. Remember the one that said, I like to make men uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, her comment was said a long time ago over work she did exposing Muslim oppression, and it
Yep.
had nothing to do with Star Wars, but the perception is there that she's not exactly the right fit to make a science fiction trilogy if her forte is exposing men for what pieces of shit they are.
And someone kind of pointed out that Harvey Weinstein's former assistant, she doesn't like Star Wars. She just only likes the idea of it.
That sounds like a lot of the writers that get hired. They get hired having no respect for the lore or the source material, but they think they can write better material. All right, so this is the interview that everybody's talking about. It's under the Wrap on Twitter, aka X, and we are going to play the audio from that right now. Here we go.
I want to ask you both because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that? Are you
Not the
bracing
gayest
yourself?
Star Wars. Not the.
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. Leslie, how do you feel?
Am I gay? Yes.
Well, no, I know
Yeah.
you are gay, but I'm asking, are you excited about putting this, this is going to be a talking point.
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure so.
Because nerds are gay.
Well,
Yeah.
some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay. Was this the fun element of it?
No, I don't think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I frankly
You're offended?
into it. No.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the fits? We'd be like, look how gay this is, and then send each other a reference photo.
And are you telling me with a straight face that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Oh,
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Ask Filoni. Okay.
Ask for
Can you
one.
imagine?
Yeah, talk to Filoni.
Do you think that what she's saying, like, C-3PO is gay, you think that's just a joke?
I don't even know what she's thinking at this point.
I consider it to be a joke, and, R2-D2 was a lesbian. Look, The Simpsons made a joke like that over 20 years ago, and nobody really batted an eye then.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
And fighting these really intense robots are the gay robots from Star Wars. That was the joke, and it's funny now. So I can see them making it a joke, but then I also can see idiot right-wingers looking at that as like, see, they're making Star Wars gay, they're doing this, they're doing that. I'm like, I just watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't really see a lot of quote-unquote woke gay shit in it. And supposedly there are going to be characters that use they them pronouns or whatever, and you're going to have right-wing people like, oh, there's the first transgender actress to be in a Star Wars series, and I'm just pretty much channeling Peter Griffin like, oh my god, who the hell cares? It is amazing how they still continue to push, oh, Star Wars needs more female main characters. Greg, you saw the sequel trilogy. Who was the main character in the sequel trilogy?
Rey, and
Right.
she's terrible.
Okay. Who was the main character in Rogue One? It was a female.
Yes.
4 out of the last 5 Star Wars movies that have been released had a main female protagonist.
Oh,
Plus, you had the Ahsoka show, starring 2 female leads. And even the Obi-Wan show, a bait and switch over who was really the lead of the show.
With an actress that's kind of more of a bitch and all that.
Yes, although if you called her that, she would just say you're being racist. So, when are they going to get the hint that it's not the push for more women and diversity in Star Wars that people are hating? It's just the shitty writing and the storytelling. This is literally the South Park parody. They made fun of this a while ago, and it's still happening.
In other words, put a chick in it and make her lame and gay.
The Acolyte. It currently has over a 90% critical score. Do you know what the audience score is?
30%.
Yes. That is currently a lower audience score than The Book of Boba Fett,
Mm-hmm.
the 3rd season of The Mandalorian,
Yep.
and The Last Jedi. This
Ugh.
has a worse score than those.
Really?
And you know what their excuse is, right, Craig?
Oh yeah, you're just racist, you're a misogynist and all that crap.
Oh, they're review bombing it!
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
You're a bigot, you're a misogynist! You're a horrible person if you don't like the new Star Wars!
And if you're a Karen, you could just go sleep with Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly, go suck a dick. The same shit happened with Ahsoka. The same shit happened with Obi-Wan. Oh, you're a racist! You don't like Reva! How can you dislike Kid Leia? Because it breaks the fucking canon. That's why people dislike the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And of course, according to Disney, this has been the most successful premiere out of all the shows, claiming
Bullshit.
nearly 5 million viewers in its first 24 hours. Exactly, Greg. Say that again.
Bullshit.
That is right. They're claiming that this had twice as many viewers as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I guess they're trying to cope as hard as they can because they just want to live in La La Land.
I guess so. Look, the Obi-Wan show was something that people actually wanted to see when it premiered because of the hype surrounding Ewan and Hayden Christensen returning. And yeah, we already know how that bait and switch show turned into.
Yeah.
And it's more successful than the Book of Boba Fett, another show that people wanted to see happen until it actually happened. More successful than Ahsoka, another character that a lot of normies know about because she was on Clone Wars cartoons and The Mandalorian.
Well, I see that she was liked in the Clone Wars, but from what I recall, I don't think she wasn't likable in the her own series or something.
She was fine. I thought Rosario Dawson did just fine. And if you literally search up Google Trends, you can actually compare the interest over time and see where interest peaked over the last 5 years with all the premieres. And as expected, you had all 3 Mandalorian seasons had large spikes when their seasons premiered, as did Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Ahsoka. The Acolyte? It's barely a blip compared to the other shows.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was that word again, Greg?
Bullshit.
Bingo. Where the hell are they getting that this is their most successful premiere?
Out of Leslie Headland's ass.
Oh. I don't think many male dicks go up her ass.
Well, I was gonna say cunt, but that would be an insult.
She definitely wouldn't have many male dicks going up that either. Anyway, so... Oh, it's the most successful premiere of 2024. That's not saying much. That's like saying the show was the nicest guy in prison. Now, maybe this is the case of Disney padding the numbers to make themselves feel good. Oh yeah, let's pat ourselves on the back. Let's make it look more popular than it actually is. Greg, did we even know there was any buzz around this show before it came out?
Honestly, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. And I didn't even know it came out until I saw videos pop up about it. I even heard the trailers for it were being downvoted like crazy.
That's true.
Oh, it's just a vocal minority. Well, if that was the case, then it would just be a dent in the votes, not having way more downvotes than upvotes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people probably saw that trailer, maybe watched the gist of it, and thought, nah, not for me, and so they downvoted it, so they don't get that in their feed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even with the 4.8 million views they are claiming, it really doesn't account for watch time. Perhaps a lot of people with the D+ subscription probably watched the first few minutes of it, then turned it off.
Yep.
Or maybe there were just some people that had the show autoplay after they were done falling asleep to a movie they initially were watching. Maybe it was a married couple having sex during Cinderella and the next show autoplayed. Bottom line, Star Wars as we know back in the 20th century and arguably until 2005, it's dead.
Yep.
So imagine if you went to a bakery, Greg, and you had the most amazing pies in your life. But after a while, the pies don't taste as good, and then the original baker leaves, and a new baker arrives, and the pies still don't taste as amazing as you remember. And then the pies suddenly get worse because the baker keeps messing with the recipes, isn't using the good ingredients, and the pies come out burnt or underbaked. And even as more and more people give out these bad Yelp reviews of the bakery, every one of those reviews is replied to, and they're labeled misogynist, and they're racist, and they're a horrible person for not liking the pies.
It's not my fault your pies taste terrible.
Exactly. So at this point, the majority of the customers are thinking, why the hell do we keep coming back? Why should we keep giving these new owners a chance? Why should we keep giving Kathleen Kennedy a chance?
Well, I guess Kathleen Kennedy's having sex with Bob Iger or something.
Maybe Kathleen Kennedy has secret pictures of Bob Iger with a goat or something. So, the only reason why I gave the Acolyte a chance was just for the sake of talking about it on this podcast. But otherwise, no, I really don't want to go back to the bakery which keeps churning out mediocre pies at best.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just sick of what Disney has been doing to the Star Wars franchise. And there's a lot of people in our boat that feel the same way. We just don't care. We know it's not going to be the same Star Wars we remember.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, do you even think that they're making Star Wars for kids anymore?
Heck no.
And what about the toys? It's almost like these toys are now in the bargain bins.
I definitely see that when I go to Target, Walmart, or Toys R Us at the Mall of America.
Would you say, Greg, that they're really just making Star Wars to please a specific demographic?
Well, instead of coming with the excuse of, oh, you're a bigot or something like that.
Exactly. Every time you call them out for not making Star Wars for general audiences anymore, you're called a bigot for calling them out on it.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people, they're pleading, make compelling stories. Make it more about the story and the characters rather than the diversity and what pronouns they use.
Yep.
I mean, are we fine if they want to slip in a DEI pill into the piece of chocolate pie? Sure, but the pie has to be good.
Mm-hmm.
To many people, it's not even a piece of pie. It's a bunch of DEI pills slathered in expired milk with curds.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask where the chocolate pie went, you just instead get labeled with all these names. Look, if you are good with the product, if you like Acolyte, if you like all the Star Wars stuff that they've been doing since Disney took over, power to you. You are allowed to like what you like. I'll never badmouth you for liking a current product and your reasons for it. But what everyone is getting sick of is the same bullshit being brought up over and over and over again. Oh, how dare you dislike that show! You're a horrible person for not liking it, because I have the moral high ground!
I know someone that, that claims to have a high moral ground or something, but it turns out he was just a creep.
What did he do?
Just defended someone with a really creepy fetish. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's all we're going to leave at that. When they act like this, they're not really winning the older fans back, they're just pushing them away. And when it comes to the people who only seem to care about their DEI quotas being filled or what pronouns they use, and for the people on both sides of the political spectrum who actually don't give a shit about Star Wars anymore, but they just want to use it as a talking point to own the other side, seriously, everybody, go get laid. Seriously. And yeah, I still have my memories from when I was a kid. All the toys I used to have, all the old video games I used to play. I will go to my grave and say the PS1 version of Phantom Menace is the greatest Star Wars game ever for the wrong reasons. And, growing up with the franchise in my formative years.
Yep.
But since The Last Jedi, it's been a very downhill slope for me ever since. Mm-hmm. And if I gave the new shows a chance and decide whether or not I enjoyed them, then it is what it is. But it's 2024. It's not the 80s or 90s anymore. Star Wars will never go back to what it once was. And I think I've accepted that. What about you, Greg?
Same here. And I think we're not the only ones that thinks like that.
Oh, it's millions of people around the globe that think the same way.
I think Star Wars needs to die already.
It already did die. They just need to stop releasing so much shit.
Indeed.
Well, with that said, the diner is closed. Thank you a lot for listening to this conversation about the current Star Wars product that just got released. If you like this conversation, please leave a like and subscribe. for more Rants and Burgers and Fries podcasts, and please join the Discord server if you want to talk to myself and other panelists directly, and maybe you might even become a panelist yourself. I'm Desert Coyote 22. Thanks for listening.